Hi there, I'm Pablo. I'm a multi-instrumentalist, composer, producer, and a sound designer. I've been producing music for more than 20 years, everything from cinematic, orchestral work, and modern digital productions. And over the years, I've seen one question come up again and again from independent musicians. Why don't my tracks sound like the pros? And if that's ever crossed your mind, this masterclass is 100% for you. See, the secret isn't just better gear or fancier plugins. It's knowing how to build your tracks from the ground up with the right creative, technical, and acoustic mindset. That's what I call the music production pyramid concept, and it's the foundation behind everything I do in my own work. So this three-part masterclass will walk you through the entire process, from composition and arrangement, choices to mixing and mastering, and even knowing how to deal with your room acoustics. It's the complete picture you need to make sure your music sounds clear, balanced, and professional. Before we dive in, I'd love for you to check out my YouTube playlist. It's full of my own compositions and productions. And because I believe that that's the real proof is in the music production outcome itself. That will give you an idea of the kind of sound and attention to detail we'll be aiming for together. I'm doing this because I remember how hard it was to figure out all this out on my own, years of trial and error, trying to make things sound right. My goal here is to save you that time and frustration and put you in the right direction and help you finally get the results you've been chasing. So before we get started, in the first video, we'll explore the basis of it all, which is the music production pyramid concept, and why getting this foundation right is the key to making your tracks shine like the pros. So before we dive in, I would like to get our feet on the ground to understand better the music business we're in and try to answer a little bit about some of the philosophical questions about what is being a musician, composer, and a producer. So if we're looking at what your tracks don't sound like the pros, I think there are two essential things that I want you to keep in mind, which will probably put you in the right track into this. The first thing is keep in mind or remember this phrase: if we don't adapt to today's music production business, we become obsolete. That means we are evolving. This is a very, very fast-paced, evolving time for production. I will want to make sure that we are keep up with that. Keep that in mind because everything that I'm going to be talking about in this masterclass has to do with how we actually do business with music. And the second phrase would be those people that don't understand what's involved in the music production process are destined to disappear. Essentially, and this is probably the other side of the coin of this masterclass, which shows us exactly what is the music production process. And most people, a lot of people, they really do not understand the music production process, what's involved and what is the main objective and how we can achieve that objective. So I'm really like to have some sort of a two-way communication so we can all learn together about that. So I would like to have your comments about several questions that has to do with this problematic statement that I just laid out for you. And we can discuss, and I will read all your comments and your thinkings about that. But basically, I would like you to share your thoughts about this topic and make sure that you put it on the comments list in this video. The first one would be, and you ask yourselves, what's your role in the music production business? Are you a musician, a composer, an engineer, an arranger? Are you a DIY musician, which is actually takes a little bit of those parts together? It's important to understand what is your position in the music business. The second question would be, what's the difference between a successful musician or a producer and other one who is not? Think about that, because when you're pointing to some of your objective, we need to understand what is your end point for this. What is your milestone as a musician or as a producer? And the third one would be, Do you consider a success objective in music? What do you consider that being? Where do you want to go? I mean, you are here today, and what is your goal in 3 years from now, 5 years from now? How are you seeing yourself in the future? So keep us posted. I read all the comments and I also respond to all the comments. It would be great for us to take a look at that together and collaborate with this type of polemic questions. First of all, as I said before, we're going to be looking at the main concept that I use in my work here, which is the music production pyramid. In this section, I'll show you how to build your production from the ground up, starting with your creative vision, your composition, and your arrangement choices. You understand how these early stages affect everything that comes after, and how small adjustment here can make your final mix sound instantly more balanced and professional. So the second part of this masterclass, video number 2, we're going to be talking about specifically on composition, arrangement, and instrumentation choices. We'll talk about the heart of your track, your composition and arrangement. We'll go over how to choose instruments that complement each other, how to avoid frequency clashes, and how to structure your arrangement so your track keeps energy and emotion from start to finish. So you also see how orchestration principles work, the same ones that used in the film scoring and ensemble writing apply perfectly to any genre, whether you are producing pop, electronic, or any type of music, including cinematic. By the end of this section, you'll know how to make your tracks feel full, spacious, and intentionally even before you start mixing. Video number 3 or part number 3, we're going to be talking specifically about space acoustics, mixing, and mastering guidelines. So finally, we'll move into the technical side, your acoustic space, your mix, and your master. We look at how your room setup affects what you hear, how to make easy, low-cost improvements that can immediately help your mix translate better. Then we'll break down the essentials for mixing, balancing, and all the process units that we use, and we'll share a practical step-by-step approach so you can apply it right away. And of course, we'll wrap up with the mastering process is to bring up everything together to the final step, polished sound that stand up against the commercial tracks. So stay tuned until the end of the last video. I also will share a special opportunity for you that you want to think about that. We are looking at my online course, the complete method for music production. That's where we take everything from this masterclass and apply it right away into templates, the real projects, and detailed exercises you can follow at your own pace. So basically, if you're serious about improving your sound and getting your music to a professional level, this is the next logical step to move on. So grab your note, open your door, and get ready, because by the end of this series, you'll not only understand what makes professional tracks sound great, but you'll be able to do it yourself. Okay, so let's jump right in. The first thing I want to talk to you about is essentially not a technical aspect, but it has to do with a concept that I've been using for more than 20 years. The concept basically means that it's a procedure or a mindset that you're going to be using for music production that will lead you to success. This is what I call the music production pyramid concept. It's basically, it looks simple. It's basically an interconnected steps, all of which are essential for achieving a successful final product, as I said before. But one of the key aspects of that is that the quality of each ascending step impacts the steps above. And this is probably, if there's something in this masterclass you want to remember, is this figure over here. There's probably 90% of musicians, composers, and producers that I know of that this is not well understood. Doesn't understand exactly how the steps are linked together and why we are seeing this pyramid where we have a heavy weight on the bottom, such as the steps, the songwriting and composition, and moving up the steps, and each one is actually being supported underneath. What this means is basically, and what I do in my own work is I put focus on each one of those steps before I climb up one step up, which means is if I do not have I would say a clear composition outline, or I haven't completed my songwriting as I should, then I cannot actually start talking about the next steps, which are the arrangement. And one of the key aspects of this is that there's a lot of musicians that they jump right into the editing and the mixing process when they have some sort of a draft ideas into that. And not only this is has a negative effect on the final product, but it also makes it not efficient from the time perspective. You end up spending a lot of time, which you need, going back to things and rephrase them or changing or revising them. This concept is telling you, let's go on an upwards position when we're going to be putting focus on each one of those elements as a baseline, as a support for the next one. So that being the case, what I would like to share with you, try to make you understand those misbeliefs and how they actually can provide, I would say, a bad starting point in what you are trying to do. So let's go one by one. The first one would be, there was a saying this composition is a sketch. I trust the singer and the guitarist to make the song shine. This is basically wrong. Okay, the reason it is wrong is because the baseline should be to start with a songwriting which is clear, understanding what is the overall frame of the composition before asking or expecting the vocalist or a guitarist to make the song shine in terms of, putting their effort as performance in order to make it work and succeed. I'm not saying that the performance, the players shouldn't actually not be working with you about making things better and improve them and so forth. This is excellent that this is being done probably throughout the arrangement stage and even before the recording or in the recording studio. But the bottom line is the composition should be outlined and known from the start. And this is what you'll be shooting for in order to make it a success project. The second one is saying is the final arrangement and instrumentation will be done during the recording session. Okay, this is one step forward. And we're saying, I really do not have clear in my mind how I'm going to be arranging or what is going to be the set of instrumentation I'm going to be using in my project. I'm going to be in the recording studios and going to come up with some ideas, going to grab a guitar, I'm going to grab a synthesizer, and I'm going to start working into that. The problem with the arrangement and the instrumentation is something that needs to be thought very carefully from the composition itself. And we will talk about this in our next video, how important it is to have a mindset for arrangement. A song arrangement can change completely the beauty and how the impact is going to be into the listener only because of the arrangement. So this is another topic that we need to be careful about. Saying number 3, don't be too concerned about the recording quality or performance. We will fix it in the mix with X tools, whatever. There's a lot of people that go and run around the recording, they grab the guitar and start recording without actually being aware of these type of things, the things that we believe that they can be fixed in the mix, they cannot be fixed in the mix in a professional manner. So it is important that when we hear the recording quality, before moving to any type of processing we're going to do, make sure that you're comfortable and you're okay with the recording that you have put together. Make sure that, for example, if you have a guitar This is the sound of the guitar that you would like to have. This is the core sound of the guitar. Of course, we're going to enhance it during the mix, but this is the guitar we want. The vocal, this is actually, do we have kind of intonation problem with the vocal? This is something that you say, no, we're going to check it out and correct it using Melodyne, Autotune, whatever it is that. Typically, when we are looking into this type of tools, the processing of these tools is very, very subtle, and it's been put in the concept of having more to polish the track, but not actually to fix up major intonation issues. So these are two examples, but probably you understand now what I'm talking about. The message here is your recording must be satisfying for the producer, for yourself, if you're a DIY musician, before you move on. Saying number 4, auto mastering with the AI technology by itself is the way to go. It knows what I need better. Well, I have some news for you. I'm all about understanding the AI technology, putting into auto mastering. I've been using from time to time some of these tools, and they really are built in a very rational way, being built by mixing engineers or mastering engineers with a lot of experience and applied to specific genres of music. But the issue is like this. This could be a starting point, but both the mixing and the mastering is also an art. And when you have something in mind for a song, typically you will try or address exactly what you're looking for or what you're after for that particular production. And sometimes, and I would say from my case, I rather stay away from auto mastering because I apply specific elements of production that I would like to have it because this is what I have in mind. It's like we have some sort of a painting and we would like to paint in a certain way, not someone else to go and put the painting on you. So I'm not saying not to use those tools. Use it as a baseline, use it as a reference, understand exactly what they've done to your work. But at the end of the day, the expectation is you as a producer, you will be responsible for getting that the most, I would say, the trend of that song or the trend of that work is what you intended to have from the beginning and not what the auto mastering system told you to do. So, saying number 5. So for mixing, what really matters is whether or not you have expensive plugins. And I've been hearing this for a long time for a lot of people throughout several years. And believe it or not, as the time goes along, those plugins become, from the technological perspective, the technical perspective, they become so advanced, even at the level of the entry level and low pricing plugins. They are phenomenal. They work very well, and actually you can do a very decent job for most of the plugins that you have free plugins or those plugins that are not going to cost you $400 that you can actually apply to. And my own work involves some of the plugins that you basically are maybe more expensive because I have something specific that would like from them. But I also have a lot of free plugins and some plugins that are low cost because actually they perform very well and you can have a very decent product out of that. So if you're measuring the mixing quality, you're not measuring based on the plugins you're using. Your mixing outcome or quality will be based on what you do with your plugins. Keep that in mind. You need to be able, it's 90% being able to understand how to use those plugins. And this I'm talking about understanding that not even just putting out the preset that comes with the plugin without actually understanding what that preset did to your work. So you need to understand that. And of course, my online course will have tons of information about this and how to manipulate those plugins and how to use them and what is the best way to optimize their use and what we're looking after for a specific type of music. But for now, just keep in mind in this masterclass that please focus of your understanding about how to do audio processing as opposed to trying to gather a collection of expensive plugins, because this is what we think that's going to have some sort of success in your project.